Hi, welcome back. In this lesson, we are going to talk about phrase structure rules for the clause or the sentence. Let's get straight into it. In traditional grammar analysis, the clause or the sentence consists of a subject and a verb. Therefore, in traditional grammar, whenever we have a group of words that contains a subject and a verb, then we can say that we have a sentence. For example, the beautiful bird flew over the tree. This group of words contains a subject, that is the beautiful bird, and what is being said about the subject, flew over the tree. Therefore, since we have both the subject and the predicate, we can say that we have a sentence. That is traditional grammar analysis. Now let us talk about phrase structure grammar. How do we call a sentence in phrase structure grammar? In phrase structure, the sentence is known as tense phrase, which is abbreviated as TP. Wherever you see TP or the tense phrase, then we are referring to the clause or the sentence. In this lesson, we are going to break down the tense phrase to see its minor constituents and how to draw trees for the tense phrase. Just as in traditional grammar, we would say a sentence consists of a subject and a predicate, in phrase structure grammar, the tense phrase consists of two major parts. That is, 1. The noun phrase part. So this is the part that constitutes the subject. For example, can you identify the noun phrase in this sentence? The beautiful bird flew over the tree. Here, our noun phrase is the beautiful bird. So this will be our NP. That is the first part of every tense phrase or every sentence in phrase structure grammar. Now the part that forms the predicate in phrase structure grammar is called the verb phrase. So wherever you see VP, that is the predicate part of the clause or the sentence. Wherever you have a clause or a tense phrase, it is going to consist of a noun phrase and then a verb phrase. We have looked at rules for the noun phrase, and in our previous lesson, we talked about rules for the verb phrase. Let us move on to talk about the rules for the tense phrase. When you have a sentence, how are you going to draw the tree? What are the rules that govern it? First, rule number 1. The TP or the tense phrase consists of a noun phrase and a verb phrase. Let us have this example. The beautiful bird flew over the tree. Which part of the TP is our NP? Obviously, it is this part, the beautiful bird. So the beautiful bird becomes our NP. And which part forms our VP? It will be the predicate, that is, flew over the tree. It will become our VP. These are the two major constituents of the tense phrase. Let us draw a tree diagram for this clause. The beautiful bird flew over the tree. This is a tense phrase. It is a sentence. What do you think we should start with? Since it is a sentence, we have to use TP as our starting point. Therefore, this construction here becomes a tense phrase, a sentence, and it consists of a noun phrase, that is the beautiful bird, and also a verb phrase, that is flew over the tree. But the noun phrase also consists of some minor constituents. Let us see what the noun phrase consists of. We have learned how to break down this noun phrase into its minor constituents. First of all, the noun phrase consists of a determiner, and our determiner is the. The noun phrase also consists of an adjective phrase, that is beautiful. So we will draw our vertical branch and then represent the adjective phrase. This adjective phrase consists of only one word adjective, that is beautiful. This noun phrase has the head bird. This noun phrase consists of the noun bird. We are done with the first part, that is the noun phrase part. Let us move on to break down our verb phrase. We already know how to break down verb phrases in phrase structure grammar. First of all, this verb phrase consists of a verb, that is the head word flew. Therefore, we would have a branch for the verb flew. Then this verb phrase consists of a prepositional phrase. Therefore, we would have a branch for our prepositional phrase. Every prepositional phrase has a preposition and a noun phrase. In this case, the preposition would be over, and then the noun phrase will be the tree. But this noun phrase consists of two elements, that is the determiner, which is the, and then tree, which is the noun, the head of the noun phrase. We are done representing this sentence on our tree diagram. So first of all, since it is a sentence, we wrote our TP. This TP consisted of a noun phrase and a verb phrase. This is the breakdown of the noun phrase part, and this is the breakdown of the verb phrase part. Over here, we are applying our knowledge of how to break down the noun phrase and how to break down the verb phrase to break down the tense phrase. So if you haven't watched the videos on how to break down noun phrases and how to expand verb phrases, kindly do so. This is the first rule of the sentence. A sentence or a TP can consist of a noun phrase and a verb phrase. Let us talk about the second rule of the tense phrase. This is rule number 2 for the tense phrase. A tense phrase consists of NP, T, and a VP, meaning the tense phrase can consist of a noun phrase, a T, and a VP. This is the new element that has been introduced in the TP rule. What does the T stand for? The T is any category that falls under modals and auxiliaries, which means that in a sentence, if you have a modal or an auxiliary, it will be the T part. Let us have an example. The beautiful bird can fly over the tree. Let us identify the elements in this tense phrase. This tense phrase consists of an NP, which is the beautiful bird, and it consists of a T, that is the modal verb can, and it consists of the VP, that is fly over the tree. Let us draw a tree diagram for this. First of all, the whole of this is a TP. This TP consists of 3 parts. We already know the first rule of TPs. That is, a sentence will always consist of a noun phrase and then a verb phrase. But in a sentence, the beautiful bird can fly over the tree, we have a T, that is a modal. Therefore, we need to draw another branch in the middle to account for the modal verb. So we will draw a branch to represent our T, which is can. The T is the category where modals and auxiliaries fall. Now that we've drawn the branch node for can, let us talk about the noun phrase part and then the verb phrase part. In this sentence or the TP, what constitutes the noun phrase? It is the beautiful bird. Therefore, we have an NP, and this NP consists of the determiner, which is the, and then our adjective phrase, that is beautiful. So this adjective phrase consists of only one word adjective, that is beautiful. And then we have our head word, that is the noun, bird, the beautiful bird. We are done with the noun phrase part. Now let us move on and expand the verb phrase part. First of all, the verb phrase consists of the head word, that is a verb, fly, and then we have a prepositional phrase, over the tree. This prepositional phrase consists of 2 major parts, that is the preposition over and then the noun phrase, the tree. And this noun phrase can further be broken down into 2 parts because it consists of a determiner and then the noun head. Therefore, we would have 2 branches. One will be the determiner, the, and then the head word, which is tree. These are the two rules of the tense phrase. A tense phrase that consists of only a noun phrase and a verb phrase, or a tense phrase that consists of a noun phrase, a verb phrase, and a T category. That is the category that modals and auxiliaries fall under. And this is a sample tree that can be drawn from a sentence that contains a modal or an auxiliary. Write down a sentence that has the structure according to rule number 1 and try to draw your tree diagrams for it. After that, write down sentences that have this structure, a noun phrase, a T, and a VP, and then try to draw your tree diagrams for the sentence. In the next part, we are going to talk about another essential constituent, that is the complementizer phrase. First of all, let us ask, what is a complementizer phrase? Let us read these sentences. Sentence number 1. The president said that he won the elections. The old man inquired whether we knew the woman. In sentence 3, my only daughter asked if we knew the woman. In all the three sentences, we can see that we have two clauses. In the first sentence, we have the president said, and then the next clause is that he won the elections. In the second sentence, the old man inquired is one clause, and then we have we knew the woman, another clause. In the third sentence, my only daughter asked, and we have we knew the woman. In all these sentences, we can see that the second clauses are introduced by these words. In the first one, it is introduced by that. In the second clause, it is introduced by whether. In the third clause, it is introduced by if. These words that introduce the embedded clauses are what we call complementizer, or C in phrase structure grammar. Wherever you see a sentence which contains a clause that is introduced by these words are called complementizers. Clauses that are introduced by these words are embedded in the first clause. So, for example, the president said that he won the elections. This clause, that he won the elections, is embedded in the tense phrase. In the second one, the old man inquired whether we knew the woman. Whether we knew the woman is a clause that is embedded in the tense phrase. These clauses are what we call complementizer phrases. Let us identify the complementizer phrase in sentence 1. In sentence 1, the complementizer phrase is that he won the elections. If we take out the complementizer, which is that, then we will have another TP, another sentence. He won the elections. Let us identify the complementizer phrase in sentence 2. The old man inquired whether we knew the woman. What is the complementizer phrase? It is whether we knew the woman. If we take out the complementizer, that is whether, we have another sentence, another TP, another tense phrase. We knew the woman. In the third sentence, can you identify the complementizer phrase? It always begins with a complementizer. In this sentence, my only daughter asked if we knew the woman. What is the complementizer phrase? Find your complementizer. If. Therefore, if we knew the woman becomes the complementizer phrase, our CP. Now, if we take out if, which is the complementizer, we will be left with another sentence, another tense phrase. We knew the woman. That is the meaning of complementizer phrases. So these complementizer phrases are embedded clauses in a TP, and they always begin with a complementizer. These are examples of complementizers: that, whether, if. Let us talk about the rule number 3 for tense phrases. That is when a complementizer phrase is involved. A CP. CP stands for complementizer phrase. So a complementizer phrase consists of a complementizer, that is C, plus a tense phrase, that is a whole sentence. These are some of the examples. A CP, that is a complementizer phrase, consists of a complementizer. Let us take the first sentence. First of all, this is a CP. It consists of a complementizer, that is that, and then another sentence, that is a TP. That is the meaning of the rule. So whenever you see a complementizer phrase embedded in a clause, then that complementizer phrase is going to generate this tree. You are going to create a branch for your complementizer, and then another branch for the clause, that is the tense phrase after the complementizer. Let us look at another example. The president said that Jim won the elections. Can you identify the complementizer phrase? Here is our complementizer phrase, that Jim won the elections. Which word is our complementizer? Obviously, it is that. Whenever you have a complementizer phrase, the complementizer phrase will consist of a complementizer and then a TP. In this complementizer phrase, our complementizer is that, and our TP is Jim won the elections. But let us look at something. Can't that be removed from the sentence? We can say the president said Jim won the elections. Basically, when it comes to the that complementizers, that is complementizers that are starting with the word that can be omitted, which means that in some cases the complementizer becomes optional. If that is the case, we can revise rule number 3 and then give rule number 4 that a complementizer phrase consists of a complementizer that can be optional plus a tense phrase. This is rule number 3 and rule number 4 of the sentence when a complementizer phrase is involved. So the complementizer, especially the that complementizer, can be removed, and then we will have a TP. Let us see how to draw tree diagrams when we have complementizer phrases in the sentence. First of all, let us use this sentence. The president said that Jim won the elections. First of all, this is a TP, and we know that for every TP, it consists of a noun phrase and a verb phrase. So we would have two branches. This is the noun phrase part, the president. So this noun phrase consists of the determiner, which is the, and then president, which is the noun head. We are done with the NP. Now let us move on to the verb phrase. This part of the sentence is what forms the verb phrase. Let us circle it. So our verb phrase consists of the verb said. That is what we have here. And then our complementizer phrase. That is, that Jim won the elections. Now we are done with the part that constitutes the noun phrase. Let us move on to our verb phrase. Our verb phrase is said that Jim won the elections. That is the verb phrase. That is the part that is circled. Now, this verb phrase, this VP, consists of the verb said. So, we have a VP that consists of the verb said. That is the head of the VP. What about that Jim won the elections? What comes into mind? A CP, because this clause is introduced by a complementizer. Therefore, we would have a verb phrase that consists of the head word verb that is said, and then a CP. We already know what to do whenever we have a CP. A CP always consists of a C and what's a TP. Therefore, we would have a CP, that is That Jim won the elections, and this CP consists of the complementizer. What is our complementizer? In this case, it is the word that. If that is our complementizer, then it means that this CP consists of a complementizer and a what? A TP. And this is the TP. Jim won the elections. So the CP consists of a complementizer C, that is that, and then another sentence, a TP. We can break down this sentence easily. Jim won the elections. First of all, every TP has an NP. Therefore, in this case, the NP is Jim. We have an NP that consists of only a single noun, that is Jim. And every tense phrase has an NP and a VP. Let us expand the VP parts. If the NP is Jim, then won the elections becomes a VP. So won the elections contains the verb won, and then a noun phrase which is the elections. This noun phrase can be broken down to give us the determiner, which is the word the, and then the noun, which is elections. Now we have been able to represent this sentence on our tree diagram. So remember, the sentence is always going to give you a noun phrase and then a verb phrase. In our case, the noun phrase part was the president, and the verb phrase was said that Jim won the elections. This verb phrase consisted of a verb, that is said, and then a complementizer phrase, and we were able to expand the complementizer phrase. This complementizer phrase, that is that Jim won the elections, consists of the complementizer that, and then another sentence, that is a TP. This sentence, Jim won the elections, was also broken down to give us a noun phrase and then a verb phrase. The noun phrase part was Jim, and then the verb phrase part was won the elections. These are the two rules that govern sentences when there is a complementizer phrase embedded in it. Whenever you have a complementizer phrase, it will consist of a complementizer and then another tense phrase. Let us read these sentences. That the students failed the test annoys the teacher. That women like money is a fact. What is the difference between these two sentences and the ones that we had for rules number 3 and number 4? In the previous rule, we saw that the complementizer phrase was in the verb phrase, but in these sentences, the complementizer phrase has come at the part where the noun phrase should be. Therefore, in this sentence, we have a complementizer phrase and a verb phrase. The complementizer phrase in sentence 1 is that the student failed the test. It contains a complementizer, that is that, and then a TP, the student failed the test, and it occupies the noun phrase position. In the second one, what is our complementizer phrase? It is the underlined expression, that is, that women like money. This complementizer phrase consists of the complementizer that, and the complementizer phrase occupies the noun phrase position of the sentence. If you have this kind of sentence, how are you going to draw a tree for it? That leads us to rule number 5. We already know this rule of the tense phrase. That is, a tense phrase consists of a noun phrase and a verb phrase. Whenever you have modal or auxiliaries, it will make up the T part of the tense phrase. We already know this from our previous video. Now, if the complementizer phrase can also occupy the noun phrase position, then we need to revise this rule. If we revise this rule to include complementizer phrases that can occupy the noun phrase position, we are going to get this. A TP, that is a tense phrase, will consist of either a noun phrase or a complementizer phrase plus an optional T and then a VP. Let me go over this rule again. A TP, that is a sentence, can consist of either a noun phrase or a complementizer phrase plus a T and then a VP. That is, if you have a sentence, check whether the noun phrase part is a complementizer phrase. If the noun phrase part is a complementizer phrase, then instead of writing TP consists of NP and then a VP, you should write TP consists of a CP, that is a complementizer phrase, and then a VP, that is a verb phrase. Let us take this example. That the student failed the test annoys the teacher. That the student failed the test annoys the teacher. In this sentence, we have a complementizer phrase occupying the noun phrase position. This means that when we are expanding our tree, we will not write an NP. Instead, we are going to write a CP. This is because it is a complementizer phrase that is occupying the noun phrase position. So let us expand this on the tree diagram. We are going to get a TP for the whole of this. It is a sentence. Now this TP consists of a CP, that is a complementizer phrase, that the student failed the test, and a VP, annoys the teacher. Let us break down this CP. We already know the rule for expanding complementizer phrases. So every complementizer phrase will consist of a complementizer. In this case, the complementizer is the word that. This complementizer phrase, that is, that the student failed the test, consists of a complementizer and then a TP. Now, the TP part of the complementizer phrase is this part, that is, the student failed the test. So let us expand this part of the complementizer phrase. So this TP is made up of an NP, that is, the student, and then failed the test, which is our VP. So the TP is made up of an NP, the student, and then failed the test, which is our VP. Let us expand the NP. This NP, the student, consists of the determinant the and then the noun student. What about the VP part? We have the verb, that is failed, our head word, and then an NP, which is the test. So the test can be broken down to give us an NP that consists of the determiner the and then the noun test. We are done with the CP part of the sentence, that is, that the student failed the test. It is left with the VP part. Over here, we don't have any modal or any auxiliary. We will not draw any branch in between the CP and the VP. We will go straight and then expand our VP part. Our verb phrase contains the verb annoys. Therefore, we draw a branch and then write our verb annoys. Annoys what? This part of the verb phrase is a noun phrase. Therefore, we have a verb phrase that consists of a verb and then a noun phrase. The teacher is our noun phrase. So this noun phrase consists of the determiner the and the noun teacher. We are done with this sentence over here. So that is rule number 5. Whenever you have a sentence, check whether the noun phrase part is a CP, a complementizer phrase, or it doesn't contain any complementizer. If it contains a complementizer, then the TP is going to give you a complementizer phrase and then a verb phrase, not an NP and a VP. But if the noun phrase part doesn't contain any complementizer, then your TP is going to give you NP and then VP. That is rule number 5. Now that we have introduced complementizers, it means that we can revise the verb phrase rules. Kindly watch the video to see the last rule that we discussed on the verb phrases. You would realize that we have already talked about this structure of the verb phrase. But since we have included complementizers in our discussion, we are going to include a complementizer phrase in our last verb phrase rule. You can be given a verb phrase that consists of an optional adverb phrase which can be more than one, and a verb head followed by a noun phrase, and then another noun phrase followed by an adverb phrase which can be one or more, which is also followed by a prepositional phrase which can be one or more, and this prepositional phrase can also be followed by an adverb phrase. Now, the only thing that we have included in this structure is the presence of a CP, that is our complementizer phrase. Therefore, we have an example of such structure above. The president quickly asked John if James won the elections cheerfully at the park proudly. First of all, the whole of this is a tense phrase. We have our noun phrase part, that is the president. Now, if the president is our noun phrase, then it means that the rest becomes our verb phrase. Let us draw a tree diagram for the structure above. First of all, we have our tense phrase, that is, the president quickly asked John if James won the elections cheerfully at the park proudly. That is our tense phrase. Now, this sentence consists of a noun phrase and a verb phrase. What is our noun phrase? It is the president. And what is our verb phrase? It is quickly asked John if James won the elections cheerfully at the park proudly. That is our verb phrase. First of all, let us expand the noun phrase, the president. The president consists of the determiner, which is the, and then the noun, which is president. We are done with the part that makes up our noun phrase. Let us move on to our verb phrase. Our verb phrase is quickly asked John if James won the elections cheerfully at the park proudly. Let us expand this verb phrase. First of all, this verb phrase is made up of the adverb phrase quickly. That is what we see over here. So this verb phrase is made up of the adverb phrase quickly, and this adverb phrase consists of one word adverb, that is quickly. Let us move on. This verb phrase consists of the head verb, that is asked. This is this part. The verb phrase consists of the head verb, which is asked. Now let us move on. John is a noun phrase after asked. Therefore, this verb phrase consists of the noun phrase, and the noun phrase consists of a noun, that is John. Now we are done up to this point. Quickly asked John. Now carefully examine the rest of the structure. You can see that from here we have a complementizer phrase. Therefore, if James won the elections cheerfully at the park proudly becomes our complementizer phrase. So it means that after our noun phrase, we have a complementizer phrase. We already know the rule for complementizer phrases. The whole of this is a complementizer phrase. This complementizer phrase consists of a complementizer and a TP. Therefore, we have our complementizer, that is if, and then a whole sentence, TP. The TP is James won the elections cheerfully at the park proudly. Let us expand the TP. This TP consists of a noun phrase. That is the rule for TPs. Remember, the TP consists of a noun phrase, that is James. So James becomes our noun phrase. Our noun phrase consists of the noun James. Now the rest of the TP is our verb phrase. Won the elections cheerfully at the park proudly. We have the verb, that is won. Then we have our noun phrase, the elections, the thing that was won. This verb phrase consists of the noun phrase, the elections, and the elections consists of the determiner the, and then the noun elections. Now after the noun phrase, the elections, we can see an adverb phrase that is modifying the verb want. Therefore, we have an adverb phrase that consists of an adverb that is cheerfully. Apart from this adverb phrase that is qualifying the head word want, we also have a prepositional phrase that is also giving us information about the verb head. Therefore, we draw a branch for our prepositional phrase. All prepositional phrases consist of a preposition and a noun phrase. Therefore, we have a preposition that is at, and then the noun phrase, the park. Let us break down our noun phrase. It consists of the determiner, the, and then the noun, park. We are done up to this point of our verb phrase. We are left with the last one, that is proudly. Proudly also gives us information about want. Therefore, the verb phrase also consists of an adverb phrase which also consists of the adverb proudly. So this is the tree that will be generated for the sentence that is above. So wherever you see a CP, always remember that the CP will be made up of a complementizer and then another sentence. We already know how to break down sentences, so this will not be an issue. Now let us talk about the last rule for the complementizers. That is, when you have a noun phrase that consists of a determiner, an adjective phrase, the noun head, more than one prepositional phrase, and a complementizer phrase. Let us have this example. The truth about my father, that he is a doctor, is fascinating. First of all, the whole of this, the underlined words, forms our noun phrase. So we have RNP. And then is fascinating becomes our VP. Let us see whether we can be able to find this structure in a sentence. This noun phrase, the truth about my father, that he is a doctor, contains the determiner there. Then we have the noun head, that is truth. And we have a prepositional phrase, that is about my father. And then we have a complementizer phrase, that is that he is a doctor. Let us try to draw a tree for this structure. First of all, we have a noun phrase. Let us draw a tree for our noun phrase. First, this noun phrase, the truth about my father, that he is a doctor, consists of a determiner, that is the. Then we have our noun head, that is truth. After the noun head, this noun phrase also consists of a prepositional phrase about my father. So we have our PP, and this prepositional phrase consists of the preposition about, and then the noun phrase my father. My father consists of the determiner my, and then the noun father. This noun phrase also consists of a complementizer phrase that begins with the complementizer that. Therefore, we draw a branch for our complementizer phrase. Let us expand this complementizer phrase. This complementizer phrase consists of the complementizer, that is that, then a TP, another sentence embedded in the complementizer phrase. He is a doctor. This TP, he is a doctor, consists of a noun phrase and a verb phrase. The noun phrase consists of the noun head, that is a pronoun, he. Then we have the verb phrase part, which is a doctor. So is a doctor consists of the verb, that is, and then a doctor, that is our noun phrase, which consists of the determiner a, and then the noun doctor. So this is the tree that will be generated when we include a complementizer phrase in a noun phrase. This brings us to the end of complementizer phrases. In our subsequent videos, we will pick sentences and then try to represent it using the phrase structure rules. In our next lesson, we are moving on to X-bar framework. Make sure that you have mastered phrase structure rules before the X-bar framework, because X-bar framework is an advanced top-up of the phrase structure grammar. See you in the next lesson.